Hello, my name is Samantha Scales, and for my project, I focused on the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Park. This site represents a major part of Atlanta's cultural identity, and because I'm from Georgia, it's something I've always been surrounded by. Here you can see the main places included in this park. It's not just one landmark, but it's a full neighborhood ecosystem. You have Dr. King's birth home, Ebenezer Baptist Church, the King Center, and the whole Sweet Auburn community. All of these spaces shaped his early life, spirituality, and activism. So the significance comes from how the site preserves an entire environment where a major social movement began. The park covers about 35 acres in the Sweet Auburn district. It preserves the locations connected to Dr. King's childhood, his spiritual development, and his activism. It's protected by the National Park Service and is supported by community groups, which helps it function as both a memorial and a living community space. Even though people visit from all over the world, it still remains deeply rooted in Atlanta's identity. To understand the cultural significance of the site, I talked to a friend from Atlanta who recently took an African American studies class. I wanted to get a perspective from someone who had studied this historic history academically but also understands the community connection behind it.
I think the archives in the MLK Museum basically let us study the civil rights movement from real original sources. It helps us and future generations learn firsthand, not just from textbooks. And I don't think the museum is just like a civil rights site. It keeps the cultural identity alive, showing the faith, resilience, and entrepreneurship that shaped African American life. I think overall it gives a more complete picture of the movement and how important community and activism is. Seeing the real spaces and artifacts is completely different. I think reading about history in class is one thing, but standing in actual places where everything happened, it just makes it more real. You can kind of feel the struggle instead of just imagine it. For example, when you're actually inside Ebenezer Baptist Church, you really understand what it meant for MLK and so many others to plan and organize there. It's just a more emotional way that a textbook can never give you.
This slide on historical significance connects the site to Dr. King's book, Stride Toward Freedom. In the book, he explains the moral roots of nonviolence and how the movement helped him discover their own dignity. When you compare that to the park, you see the actual places where these ideas were developed: his home, his church, and the Sweet Auburn community. So the book explains his philosophy, and the park shows the environment that shaped it. The National Park Service describes the site as a place where visitors can explore King's roots, walk in his footsteps, and hear his voice. That makes the park an active social environment, not just a memorial. It brings together local, national, and international visitors. Rangers lead guided tours and talks that encourage reflection and conversation. And for the surrounding community, the site acts as a social anchor. It connects people through events, education, and celebrations like MLK Day. What makes the park unique is that it preserves an entire neighborhood landscape instead of just one building. It combines physical heritage like homes, the church, and museum with intangible heritage like values, activism, and shared memory. It blends sacred, residential, and civic spaces. Because of that, the park shows how King's personal history connects to global change and how a community can shape a leader who influences the world. As an IU student, I see the site similar to a system. Sweet Auburn historically worked like a network where churches, homes, and businesses supported each other. Today, the park faces challenges like visitor flow, tour scheduling, and safety, all of which are system problems. Preservation also includes planning, material sourcing, and risk management. So my background helps me understand how systems thinking, planning, and sustainability can support the long-term protection of cultural heritage sites like this one. My biggest takeaway from Japan's cultural heritage sites is that preservation is a shared responsibility. Communities are actively involved in taking care of their traditions and spaces. Values like long-term stewardship, harmony with nature, and respect for ancestors stood out to me. Moving forward, I want to apply these ideas by thinking about more long-term in my academic work, prioritizing sustainability, and being conscious of how systems impact community and their history. These lessons help me grow as a